Greg Roberts Live, Associated Press best sports in the state of Virginia for 4 straight years.
Welcome back to Greg Roberts Live. Appreciate everybody tuning in this Friday. We're jumping on the 7-Eleven hotline. We're heading out to Los Angeles, where things are happening in the NCAA softball tournament. What in the name of Angela Tincher is going on out there? We head out to L.A., and Chip Grubb joins us. He covers the Hokies. And, Chip, the legend of Keely Rochard continues.
Oh, unbelievable, Justin. Unbelievable. I'm telling you what, this Hokies team, they just might be cooking up something pretty doggone special.
I'm telling you what, I didn't get to watch it, but I followed it on my phone. I watched all the highlights today. When you jump up 2-0 in the first inning, I mean, that had to sit there, and all of a sudden Tech had to be on cloud 9 going, okay, we just touched up a girl who hasn't lost a game all year for 2 runs in the first, and they kept it going. But I mean, in a game like that, and you're the underdog, and you jump up like that, that gives you all the confidence in the world.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then Tech goes up 2-0, but Keely strikes out the first 6 UCLA batters. Okay, the first 6 batters don't get a bat on the ball for even a foul ball. I mean, it was like, oh my goodness, this looks pretty daggone cool.
Now, what was it like out there? Because I can imagine, UCLA's they're second in the country. They've got all these titles. They're like, I'm sure and I don't know how many people were there, but the atmosphere. At what point did those fans start to get a tad bit nervous?
Well, they were. I've gone to a lot of games, a lot of sporting events. They may get the prize for the most obnoxious fans ever. I mean, they were cocky, they were arrogant, and I actually at one point I counted fans. Tech had about 40, UCLA had 80. I mean, literally, guys, I counted fans. And then you get on 2-0, and then Keely's rolling, and then Tech adds a couple more, and all of a sudden the Tech people are getting loud. And the UCLA people are looking around going, this is not what's supposed to happen. These are a bunch of hillbillies from Virginia.
Yeah, what have we walked into?
Yeah, they're not supposed to be giving us the game.
Yeah.
And
let me ask you this, because if you watched the broadcast, they interview the UCLA coach during the game. And, at this point, Tech was up a couple runs.
Right.
And she basically says out loud that, well, Tech's got an advantage because they have all the film on us because everyone knows who we are on. We're on TV all the time. And we haven't really seen them because, well, they're in Virginia and they just don't get the publicity we do.
I did not realize until I heard that quote from her that they didn't have VCRs in UCLA.
You would think
DVRs
or computers or anything.
Right.
Let me ask you this, because you're there with the team. Does the coach and players know about that little interview?
Well, I have not seen them today, but I'm sure they do. I am sure they do. Coach Ditmore is pulling out every angle in the world. But what struck me in the post-game press conference last night was Coach and Bennett were the two folks. And you talk about level-headed. I mean, Kelsey just said we haven't done anything yet. As far as I'm concerned. This is the opening game tomorrow night. It's 0-0, and we need to take care of business. I mean, they are so level-headed, but I think I said on Wednesday when I was on your show, they have this quiet confidence that they believe they can play with anybody. And let me tell you, they showed it last night.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. No, that was one of the things that I commented to JD about earlier was when you started watching that ball game last night, it looked like that Virginia Tech was the team that was supposed to be there that everybody else needed to beat. It was not supposed to be UCLA, and here's UCLA with all these titles, defending national champions, and you're going, it really looked like UCLA was out of their element last night.
Well, and 5 errors, guys.
Right.
Yeah,
they committed 5 errors, and some of it I believe. And again, I don't pretend not to look through orange maroon glasses, but I think that you've got people like Kelsey Brown and Cameron Fagan that are so fast, and UCLA was rushing every play on defense. But 5 errors. I mean, gosh, there's little league teams that don't make 5 errors in a game.
Now, and we say that as we look forward to Game 2 tonight, 9:30 on ESPN2, you can't bank on them making 5 errors again.
No, absolutely not.
Now, having said that, I would argue that Tech still wins that game without the errors. It's probably just 4-2,
right?
Maybe 3-2.
I agree.
So you fast forward. I guess maybe Rachel Garcia pitches again for UCLA. They took her out after a couple runs, whether they throw the other girl or not. She got her first loss of the year last year.
She did.
They've only given up 7 runs, I think, in a game twice this year. Once last night. So you feel like UCLA is going to give their best shot tonight. They need to, but you feel like you're not going to get the same shaky effort you got last night.
Agree. I really believe they will start Farah Ammo, I believe her name is, because she has actually started, believe it or not, more games than Garcia has. She has 18 starts for the year. Garcia's only got 14 after last night. And she came in and basically slammed the door on Tech. I thought, honestly, Tech had a chance to run rule them. They had the bases loaded
in the fifth,
with
right?
A 6-run lead. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? We could run rule the number 2 team in the country, and the number 2 came in and actually struck out the side after hitting a batter. So,
right.
I almost expect to see her start tonight. One of the things that was interesting that Coach Ditmore said in his post game is one of their assistant coaches, Mike Lewis, won like the National Men's Softball Championship this past year. And Coach Ditmore gave him a lot of credit. He said he throws over 70 miles an hour. Our girls have been going up against him for the past week. So Garcia's speed, we certainly respect her, but we saw that speed in practice, and we were ready for it.
Well, and let's face it, whether it's baseball or softball, I don't care how hard you throw. At some point, good hitters are going to catch up.
Yes.
And that's why the other pitchers are so important. But to your point, if you've already seen 70 in practice, and I'm sure other girls have touched it during the year, it's all timing at that point. If that ball's not moving, it's just humming.
Sure,
it's timing. And to your point, Chip, it looked like last night, first inning, they already had it down. They're like, well, we've seen this. Let's go.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, they got 11 hits last night. I mean, this team in the 4 NCAA games, they have scored 31 runs. That's 7.75 runs a game.
That's a lot.
NCAA playoffs.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That's a lot.
They are just seeing the ball well, and I mean, and something I said to somebody today. The chemistry on this team is just amazing. I asked Bennett in the post game. I said, "Look, you got a lot of freshmen out there," and I said, "Oh, by the way, you've never played in the Super Regional either. Weren't there a few butterflies? How did you handle it?" And she said, first inning, she said, Addie Green, that's one of our freshmen, struck out with me on third and stranded me on third. She said, I went up to her as we went to take the field for defense, and I said, don't you worry about it. That strikeout's not going to matter at all by the end of the game. Well, 5th inning, Addie comes back up. Guess what? She laces a base hit to right field, knocks in a run. I mean, this team truly likes each other. And I don't think you can overstate the importance of team chemistry.
No, you can't. I mean, any locker room will tell you if you don't have it, you have a problem.
Right. And Chip, one of the things that, coaching for years, and JD has coached as well, softball, one of the things, you kind of have those field generals out there that you really rely on. And I'm watching this team, several times this year, and I am growing more and more in love with Mackenzie Lauter every time I watch a game. This young lady as a catcher, she controls that game so well for Keeley. And, it just amazes me. Tell me about this young lady a little bit.
Well, what is amazing about Lauter and Richard, and this is very unusual, they call their own game. Okay, I would say 95% of the college softball teams, the coach calls the game from the dugout, not in Blacksburg. Lauter and Richard have played together like 6 or 7 years, back to travel ball. And Coach talked about it in the press conference last night. He said they really like each other. He said they know each other. He said Keeley, has the right to shake anything off that she doesn't like. She said, but they are on the same wavelength. And he said, I am not going to get involved and screw that up. We're going to let them take it. And,
sign of a good coach. I'm not going to interject myself into this and mess it up.
Exactly.
Well, I asked him about that earlier this year. I said, that's really unusual. I said, you were at Missouri for 10 years. You handled the pitchers. I said, you, according to your bio on the Missouri site, I said, your pitchers threw, like 16, 18 no-hitters. I said, you called the pitches. You came here and that didn't happen. And he says, you know what? They know each other. They're comfortable. And he said, you know what? If they're calling it, they're taking responsibility for it. He said, so let's let them play ball.
Well, and you feel like, too, that's a sign of a good coach going, look, if things gotten sideways some point during a year,
yes,
he might have been like, hey, okay, let's let me do it. But they never really had many speed bumps all year, so I'm sure he was like, look, I'm going to ride this wave as long as I can.
Sure.
Well, and it's going to be interesting tonight. Obviously, Keeley's going for Tech. In the post game, this lovely UVA coach. I'm sorry. Gosh, Randy, I apologize.
Shame on you.
I'm sorry. My goodness, I would never put your Who's in the same class as UCLA. I think way too much of you guys. But the UCLA coach talked about, well, we finally, we didn't see her ahead of time, and we finally got her dialed in, and I feel like we had some quality at bats. And, we'll be okay tomorrow and the next night. And Coach Ditmore said, Keeley's MO is she gets stronger game 2, game 3. If you're going to get her, you better get her game 1. So it is going to be interesting tonight.
I really feel like, UCLA played their worst game of the year last night, and Tech jumped all over them. 2, just by the comments, what I've read, and how they looked, UCLA, they thought they had this thing won. Well, they thought they were going to throw their gloves out there, win 2 games, and move on to the College World Series.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they got jumped on. Now, I fully expect tonight to end up being like a 2-1, 1-0 type of ball game, because UCLA is going to show up and play like the defending national champs.
Well, but as well as I do, the ammunition that you roll into this game with is going,
right.
Look, they don't think you belong here. They thought they were going to just rip you to pieces last night, and you showed them something. You need to finish this.
Yeah.
Agreed. Now, I didn't see the game on TV, obviously, because I was there, but somebody said that UCLA girls had glitter on their face, and it was more of a looking good situation than going to play softball.
And that may be their thing. I've never seen them play. I haven't seen them play all year, so, that may be their thing.
You don't have video either, Justin?
I don't have TV. I don't have video. I don't have internet. I don't have anything. I'm just like the UCLA coaching staff. I got nothing.
I love it.
Hey, Chip, we appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much for the coverage. Enjoy it out there. And you know what? If the Hokies pull this off, we may have to shout at you on Tuesday next week.
All right. Be happy to. So let's get it done. Let's go Hokies.
All right, there you go. Chip Grubb, who covers Virginia Tech softball, does a great job, and we appreciate him stopping by. He stopped by yesterday.
Yeah.
Came by today. We appreciate it. Good stuff there from 2 days ago. Chip did. So we appreciate him stopping by and giving us the insight. Game 2 tonight, 9:30 on ESPN2. Stick around, folks. Greg Roberts Live, rolling on.
Today, people with